Howdy there, folks. I've already done a monotype with my favorite type, but what about my third favorite type? Now I'm gonna start here with Coco, who I'm naming Kenny. He will probably stick around to the very end, because, you know, Skeledirge is fantastic. And I'm rolling that because he eventually evolves into a ghost type, I can still use him. Now then, I hope you all are ready for a big jump in the story now, because we're going on to the next ghost encounters in West Province Area 1. I find a Ghastly and a Mischievous. I catch a Ghastly, I name Heidi, and a Mischievous, I name Wendy. Alright. I guess it's time for the easiest gym in the run. Cortondo is the bug gym in Paldea. Katy starts with a Nimble, which dies immediately. Same with Tarantula, because what's it gonna do, survive a modest fire attack? Atticus gave my grass team a bit of trouble, but it gets off a devastating attack against Kenny, you know. But he was first next round and kills with an Incinerate. And you know, since I'm writing this as a go, I'm just gonna change my mind right here, because you know, what's better than a rule set that just changes mid-challenge? But I've decided that I am not going to allow myself to use any Pokemon that evolve into a ghost type until they can evolve into that type. Now, after the absolute worst luck I've seen catching a Pokemon, I catch Oricorio, who I can't use until my third gym badge, where I can change it to ghost type, which is when the nectar starts appearing in the store. I name him Craig. Now, for the fun part. Klawf. 3 out of 4 of its moves are either normal or fighting type, and it only seems to use those moves against Wendy, meaning she wasn't even hit once. It then breaks into its lair, eats a leaf, and attacks me again. This fight goes pretty good. It only focuses Arven's Shelter until it attacks Wendy once. She gets her speed dropped, so Shelter water guns, and Wendy is able to get the final hit in. And I'm gonna be stuck with Wendy and Heidi for a long time. Well, the time being at least, you know, until I grab a Mimikyu. So let's challenge Brassius. I collect all the Sunflora and head into the fight. Unfortunately, Wendy and Heidi know terrible moves, so I have to resort to spamming Confusion. This is able to kill Petalil and Smoliv, as well as Confusion doing, well, literally nothing against Smoliv. Sudowoodo is out next, and it kills Wendy. Heidi can't even hurt it, as she misses 2 Hypnosis in a row and dies. And you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna level them up until they learn Hex, so they aren't completely useless. And also, now that I'm a decent level, I think I'm gonna go try going for a Mimikyu. I head on over to where you can find Mimikyu, which is pretty close to Levincia, and I catch him after a lot of failed attempts though. But I name her Bebe. Now, a very fun fact, close to the Bombiridier Titan, there's a cliff where you can find a TM for Swords Dance. So naturally, I grab that for Bebe. It's right next to the ruinous sword sealed thingamabob. You know what I mean if you've played the game. Now, finally, with my team a bit over-leveled and frankly over-prepared, it's time to take on the Artisan Gym one last time. This time I'm gonna lead with Bebe. She's my lowest level Pokemon. Turn 1, I open with Swords Dance and get put to sleep. Wonderful. Bebe wakes up and takes out Petalil with a single Shadow Sneak. Then Woodhammers Smoliv. She survives a Trailblaze, allowing her to kill with 2 Shadow Sneaks against Sudowoodo. Oh, and Heidi also evolves during it. I then trade it and put it back in my game to make her a Gengar. And you know, I'm doing this in a really weird order, but I'm gonna book it straight to Gym 3 so I can add Craig to my team. But I gotta beat up Nemona first. She decides to have Rockruff set up Howls, which is it's a major mistake, because Bebe gets to use Swords Dance 3 times, which boosts attack 6 times. A max boosted Mimikyu. My favorite thing to do. Rockruff dies in a single Shadow Sneak. Bebe Shadow Sneaks Palmy, who dies instantly. After all, it's boosted 6 times. Florigato survives and sets up a Home Claws, you know. Yeah, totally a good idea, especially because Bebe still hasn't been hit yet. You never set up against a Mimikyu, or it'll get off a bunch of Swords Dances and sweep. Friend of mine learned that the hard way. Oh, and now Nemona? The hell? Oh, that was a weird typo. Oh, and Nemona has as well. Now, the 2 Team Star Crews that are next are in for an ass whooping when I finish up here. But first, I had to find Clavel thrice, and then I get to beat up Iono. I set up a single Swords Dance, which is able to kill Trell in 2 hits. She does do some decent damage to Bellabolt, but ends up dying. It does really big damage to Wendy, as I have her Hex it to death. Luxio is out last, and I'm not expecting Wendy to survive long, gotta be honest here. She gets hit with a big bite, and I've only got one thing left, Heidi. She's Terra Poison, which does kinda suck, but I doubt she'll have much trouble. I do end up losing the fight to fucking Confusion. Goddamn, why? I could have won as well. Next attempt, I Swords Dance twice, since I know I'm gonna get paralyzed. Bebe is able to obliterate everything in her path until Mismagius, which, by the way, one of my favorites to use, my least favorite to go up against, because Confused Ray is a bad move that shouldn't exist. Then Paralysis does the things and prevents Bebe from obliterating Mismagius. Wendy dies because of fucking Confusion again. Seriously, I can actually win this if I could fucking move. Thank fucking God, though. Heidi avoids the Charge Beam, allowing a final Hex to go through and kill. I pick up my Nectars and also grab some power items, specifically the Power Bracer and Lens. I'm thinking I should take on Bombiridier next. I accidentally baton pass into Bebe. Oops. At least Woodhammer does pretty good damage despite being resisted. Now Craig, he does really good damage with Air Cutter though, even when Bombiridier gets its HM. I also pick up a Mankey here. I name her Henrietta, because she evolves into Annihilate in this game, which is pretty cool. And once my team reaches level 35 to 36, I'll be able to bring Kenny and Henrietta back into the team. Now then, something I absolutely should have done earlier, Giacomo, the Dark type team star. I might have a problem with this one due to, Dark type, but that's why I have Craig. I have him whittle down Ponyard's help with air slashes, and then he dies to Reverum. So I send in Bebe. Reverum tries to Metal Sound twice, so I have Bebe use Swords Dance twice. But then instead use Woodhammer and nearly kill. However, Bebe knows a priority move, called Shadow Sneak. And while it's not very effective, it's also boosted 4 times. And, a bit way over leveled. Reverum just doesn't stand a chance. Now, I forgot to record this attempt. But hey, I get to do the PNG thing now. Mela is next, and honestly, I'm not super worried. I finally caught up to who I should be fighting at my current level, and she gave my team trouble last challenge since I was using grass type, so Bebe should sweep here. Or not, because she gets burned turn 1. That has attack. Great. Even with Swords Dance, I do nothing. Craig takes big hits, but doesn't kill Torkoal. However, he is outsped and dies. Heidi's Hex does barely anything, and she also dies. Wendy gets some decent hits in, but dies due to a Blazing Torque. Okay, next attempt, Bebe isn't able to kill Torkoal because of Clear Smog. Yay. This time Craig is still alive, though. It screeches and then kills him. Heidi thankfully dodges the screech, meaning it needs to take another turn to screech, and even with the lower defense, she still survives and is able to kill with hexes. Oh, and I also go all the way to Glaciato in Montenevera to grab the Dusk Stone behind the gym so I can evolve Wendy. Next up will be the Lurking Steel Titan. Now, for some reason, I decided to send Bebe out first because I forgot she was in the lead. She gets a good hit in with Shadow Sneak, allowing Heidi to pop in and finish the job. And for the second fight alongside Arven, he exclusively uses Grass Boost against his Steel type, and I accidentally send out Craig since I forgot about my party order. I do that a lot, it seems. Anyways, I decided to finally send out Wendy after a while, which is pretty good. You see, she deals a ton of damage with her Hex. And as much as I'd like to head into the water gym next, it seems its leader has forgotten his wallet. And now I have to buy something at an auction. Okay, whatever. I win, so I guess I get to beat up Kofu. As usual, I start with Sword Dance, and it crits and one-shots Veluza. Also helps that it's super effective. Next is Wug Trio, which also gets crit and dies in one hit. Apparently Bebe's disguise has never dropped though. I swear she was hit before. Oh well, I decided it's time to end this battle. I have Bebe Woodhammer and kill. Next up, I'm going after Atticus. I get my party up to level 34 with the exception of 2. Kenny and Henrietta, who both joined the party as a new Skeledirge and Annihilate. It's been ages, but I could finally do it again. After beating the crap out of the grunts, I lead with Kenny. He got hit with Toxic, so he won't last long. But he does kill. He takes a big hit from Reverum, leading to his death by Toxic, and oh my god, they killed Kenny. Those bastards. Bebe gets poisoned and Disguise dropped after a Swords Dance. She does still kill Muck after taking some pretty good damage though. Toxic spikes are scattered, so I send out Heidi. It is a bit slow, but she's able to kill it easily. Now it's time for my favorite gym leader, Larry. Kenny takes a lot of damage to the sucker punches, but his attack is raised twice. Probably won't mean too much because of how slow he is, though he does one-shot the Dunsparce before it can move with the Flamethrower, and he survives a hit from a Staraptor on 4 HP and gets the Flamethrower off. Okay, damn. I guess he would survive. Good one, Kenny. Now, this next gym might be a bit difficult due to Ghost being super effective against Ghost, but it also might be pretty easy due to Ghost being super effective against Ghost. The battle itself goes kind of poorly. Bebe gets hit with the Swords Dance, but Craig dies before he can hit anything. Bebe kills Bonnet as I send Kenny out to Torch Song against Mimikyu. And Bebe kills the other Mimikyu with a Shadow Sneak and Shadow Ball the Houndstone. Now it's Toxtricity. And guess what? Dies in a single Shadow Claw from Bebe. Alright, that was short. What's next? Ground Titan? Ground Titan. It flinches Bebe, meaning she can't use Swords Dance, meaning she dies next turn. Iron Treads deals a ton of damage against Heidi as well, but a single Hex devastates it. Wendy's able to survive and then force it to retreat, and I decide to teach Heidi Shadow Ball that I got from Rhyme. In the rematch, I get out 2 Shadow Claws, and then for some reason, it completely ignores Bebe, so I kill it with attacks. Okay. Only 2 more gyms left. Oh, yeah, Nemona. Lycanroc starts out by spamming Sand Attack, while I boost my attack, so I'll do good damage as long as I hit something. Palmok gets hit and goes down easily. She misses a bunch of times against Sligo and then actually hits and kills. Then Meowscarada kills Bebe. Unfortunate. I guess it's time for Heidi. She barely survives a Flower Trick and then kills with a Shadow Ball. Now time for the leader. I lead with Bebe, as I always like to. Unfortunately, Vergarap is a normal Psychic, meaning I have to use my only damaging move with Woodhammer. Espathra gets killed with a single hit. Same with Gardevoir. Oh, it's over. Wow. Oh, right. Floor just barely survives with barely any HP and then kills with a Moonblast. I send Wendy in since she hasn't done much in this fight. And now it's actually over. Now, Grusha. I go down the ice slopes and get the fight. It's time for Kenny. He one-shots Frostmoth with a Torch Song. Beartick goes down in another, and I feel this has gotten off enough Torch Songs. So Titan gets a good hit in, but dies to a single Flamethrower. And, yeah, Altaria takes a single hit from a Hurricane, and thankfully survives getting off a devastating Flamethrower that kills. Alright, last gym now, but there's still more to do. One of those things is challenging Ortega, and this time, I'll actually record it. Darkspawn outspeeds and kills with a Crunch. Heidi is out, and it goes for dropping her attack. Yeah, whatever, bro. Meanwhile, Heidi kills with 2 Shadow Balls. I swap into Bebe to Woodhammer twice. She then dies to the Starmobile. Wendy isn't able to kill, though, because of confusion. She does get off 2 good hexes, though. It's all up to Craig now. He gets off a Revelation Dance that kills, meaning I've just beaten Ortega. Next up is the Dondozo. It kills Kenny. So I send out Henrietta, who hasn't been able to do much since I've just been kind of forgetting her. Yeah. She's able to deal a good amount of damage against the Donzo, though she misses a cross chop, so I have her close combat to just do as much damage as possible. However, just keeps focusing on Greedent. Tatsugiri is next, and it does kill Henrietta. Thankfully, she's able to hit 2 cross chops before dying to a Dragon Pulse. And since it's almost dead now, a single Shadow Ball from Heidi will kill it, meaning I'm now done with the Path of Legends. Kinda. Literally only one thing left to do. Beat up Aerie. I'm going into this wholly underleveled. My team is around level 50, while Aries is all 55 to 56. So, yeah, I just forgot to go level up before I walked in here. This will go well. Starting out, I send Henrietta go up against Toxicroak. She whittles away its health and eventually kills it. Oh, Annihilate is next, so I send Heidi in. A single Rage Fist does kill her, though. Bebe is next up, so I Swords Dance and Shadow Sneak. Passimian ends up killing her, however, and so I send Wendy in to hex it. Next, she gets a decent hit against Lucario. Kenny's out next and finishes the job. He does die to a single high horsepower, though, meaning next out is Craig. The only move Reverum knows is that it's neutral spinouts. It ends up dropping its own speed a bunch of times, allowing Craig to get some massive hits in with Air Slash. It needs to shift here to get back its speed, so Craig gets another major hit in. This boosted one doesn't allow killing Craig to kill with a final Air Slash. You serious? I was like 6 levels under. What the hell happened? This was like the hardest fight in my last challenge run. I didn't expect that to happen. I was gonna level up first, but I just forgot. So I guess it's time for the next major fight since the main Starfall is done. Normally, I'd want to do Clavel first, but it isn't nighttime and I don't want to wait, so it's time to fight against Arven. However, first I'd have to press record, which I didn't because I'm a bit of an idiot. Starting off, Henrietta misses a cross chop, but hits the second and kills. Scovillin barely survives a Shadow Punch and then lands his Zen Headbutt, nearly killing her. Toadscroll misses an attack but dies to a Rage Fist. And this is where I realized I wasn't recording, so now you get video footage. Gorgonackle survives though and kills. It survives a Shadow Ball and then kills with an Earthquake. Wendy barely survives and kills, leaving Cloyster next. She lands a big hit but gets killed by Liquidation, leaving Bebe out next. Arven Terra stylizes Mabostiff, and I use Sword Stance on Bebe. I have her play rough, which one-shots. Okay, now it's Clive time. He goes in and leads with Oranguru. And you'll notice I completely forget what type Oranguru is and have Heidi use a ghost move on it. She dies to foul plays. I send Craig out to finish the job with Air Slashes. Obama Snow is out next, and yeah, it dies to Air Slashes. Though Poltergeist kills Craig with the Shadow Ball, and shit. Poltergeist hits a Will-O-Wisp against Bebe. It also drops the Disguise after I boost attack 6 times the Sword Stance though, so that's fun at least. Among Us gets off a hit with a Hex and Bebe dies to burn. Unfortunate. Houndoom is next, so I sent in Henrietta. It goes for a devastating Fire Blast and I go for close combat. Quaquavel is out last and the fight seems to be over. It'll surely kill Kenny since he's a fire type and Henrietta's hurt. A Terra boosted stab move will do even more damage. I guess I have to try to do something though, so I meet with Henrietta, who moves last, and after surviving an Aqua Step on 1 HP, it kills with a close combat. So that was really fun. And, Penny. She leads with Umbreon, so I swap into Henrietta, and thankfully don't take a dark move immediately. Her attack gets dropped twice before she could do anything, and lands a pretty weak close combat. I withdraw into Kenny and avoid a Psychic and go for Roar to get Umbreon out of my face after it wastes a turn lowering Kenny's attack again. She brings out Terra Sylveon, and it goes for another Baby Doll Eyes. It's like she doesn't even want to hurt anyone. Kenny kills it with 2 Torch Songs and a Flamethrower. Vaporeon's next, so I decide to swap into Craig. Though I did just boost Kenny's special attack, but I don't want him to die. Kenny decides that lowering the attack of my special attackers is a very good idea, and keeps doing that. It goes down in 3 Revelation Dances. I swap into Heidi against Jolteon though. It nearly kills Heidi with a Thunder, though it did waste its first turn by Baby Doll-izing a special attacker. Umbreon's back out. I send Henrietta back into close combat again. Then it's Flareon. I bring Heidi out and she dies to a Flare Blitz, so I send Kenny out to Shadow Ball and kill it. Leafeon goes down for a single Leaf Blade, which does nothing and it dies to Flamethrower. What'd you expect? This just leaves a few more challenges. specifically the Elite Four in Nemona fight, as well as the final boss of Area 0. Now Rika. She opens with a Whiskash and a Blizzard. Craig cuffs them out and kills with a Revelation Dance. Craig avoids Donphan's Stone Edge and kills it in 2 turns. Doug Trio opens with Sandstorm, allowing Craig to one-shot it with Revelation Dance. He gets yawned by Camera Up, which goes down easily. Clodsire is next, so I swap into Wendy. I Terra Stylize her because I haven't done it at all yet in this challenge, really. It stalls with Protects and Toxics, but kills with Liquidation, though it's stuck on very low HP. Hey, you know what's great for low HP? Shadow Sneak. I send Bebe out and, well, it protects, but it kills next turn. Next up is Poppy, and I get to use Terra Stylizing again. This time, I Terra Stylize Kenny and one-shot literally everything. Okay, Larry. He starts with a single Tropius. A single Torch Song kills it. Star Raptor gets a good hit off with Brave Bird, but dies to a Torch Song. He kills Altaria with a Shadow Ball, and then Kenny dies due to confusion because it sucks and is an awful status that shouldn't exist. I send Heidi out to Shadow Ball, but unfortunately it doesn't kill, and does big damage with Revelation Dance. Flamingo is out next, and it does some serious damage with a Brave Bird, killing Heidi, but you know what? It's still a Brave Bird, so it's basically dead if it hits someone first. So I send Bebe in to finish it off with a Shadow Sneak. Wendy dies to a Dragon Pulse from Noivern. Oh yeah, I'm in Hassel's fight now. After dealing serious damage to it. Heidi gets dropped to half by a single Dragon Pulse, finishes off Noivern. Heidi then one-shots Haxorus. Dragalge kills Heidi, so I swap into Craig to finish it off with a Revelation Dance. Flapple dies to a single Air Slash. It's kind of futile, but I want to do as much damage as possible, so I keep Craig in and have him Revelation Dance before dying to an Ice move. I have Bebe Swords Dance, and it shows that she's faster. Excalibur is doomed. Bebe one-shots with a Play Rough. And it's been a long run so far, so let's get this going. Next up is the top champion who has crippling weakness to Skeledirge. And because of that, I'm going to try not to use Kenny at all in this fight. I'm going to start this fight with Heidi instead. Espathra is first and it dies with Shadow Ball. Avalug is next and it barely survives and one-shots with an Earthquake. Henriette is next, getting off a Shadow Punch to kill. Next out is Go-Goat, so I send Craig in, and 2 Air Slashes kill it. King Gambit goes down to a single close combat from Henrietta. Veluza is next, so I swap it to Wendy as she hasn't done much here yet. She, obviously one-shots, so I keep her in for Gamora. Thankfully, Wendy is faster and is able to kill it with multiple hexes. You call that a champion? There's one last thing that I need to do before Area 0. One major fight that needs to be done. The final rival battle versus Nemona. Her Lycanroc opens with a Stealth Rock and dies to a single close combat. Palmod is next, so I send in Heidi. It one-shots Heidi after she does some serious damage to it. I swap Bebe into Shadow Sneak. Next out is Orthworm, so I bring Kenny in to do some killing. A single Torch Song kills. Kenny dies to Muddy Waters. And, I have Bebe play Rough and Swords Dance. She kills her with it, and then does the same to Dunsparce. Meowscarada goes for the Shadow Claw to kill. I send Craig out to meet it. He survives the Thunder Punch and deals good damage with Air Slash. Wendy dies to a Flower Trick, and then Henrietta dies to another, and that's the fight over. In the next attempt, Lycanroc sets up a Stealth Rock and still dies in 1 hit. Same thing happens again with Heidi, even though she's leveled up quite a bit. Kenny avoids 2 Muddy Waters in a row and kills Goodra with Shadow Balls. Meowscarada is last, and right after Kenny kills the Dunsparce, he dies in a single Shadow Claw. And Bebe doesn't have the luxury to Swords Dance right now, so I have her attack. She gets multiple excellent hits in, and just like last time, I send Craig in. And he misses an Air Slash, meaning I just lost the fight because, Heidi and Henrietta both get their butts completely obliterated by Flower Trick. This time, in my next attempt, Lycanroc goes for Drill Run and dies easily. Thank God. Now that I'm a tad bit overleveled, I get a single solid hit on Palmot and it dies to a single Shadow Ball. I switch Kenny into Orthworm to Flamethrower it. Bebe lives in Ice Beam because of Disguise and kills with Play Rough. She also kills the Dunsparce. Finally, Meowscarada. She goes for a Shadow Claw, which I know Bebe can survive, allowing her to get off a Shadow Claw and kill it. Last time I did a thing like this, I talked over the walking down segment, but hey, don't have anything to say now until I get to the Turo fight, other than please like, comment, and subscribe. I start with Wendy to take advantage of the poison typing of the future Volcarona. However, its special attack gets boosted and kills in 2 turns, because it's faster. Oops. Heidi, I think, will be faster, so I send her out, and she insta-kills the Shadow Ball. Nice. Iron Thorns is next, so I send out Henrietta. She close combats to one-shot it. Iron Bundle is up next as well, so I keep Henrietta in. It goes faster, does some serious damage. Iron Jugulus is in, so I send in Bebe to Swords Dance. I then have her play Rough and kill. I keep her in for Iron Hands though, and Iron Valiant is last, allowing me to keep Bebe in. It goes for an attack, doesn't kill, meaning Bebe comes in and strikes it down with one last Shadow Sneak. And with that, I'm done. I've won. I beat Violet using only Ghost types. Now, I do have something to say here. But first, if you made it this far, please do leave a like and subscribe and comment. It absolutely helps keep my video up and seen by people. Oh, and that idea I had. It might seem easy to some of you, but if you made it here to the end of the video, I've got a fun little challenge for you. The winners of which get to create a post-game trainer for my Pokemon fan game I've been working on. All you have to do is join the Discord and be the first person to say what the naming theme is for this video. This also applies to all my old videos as well, with the only real exception being my Monotype and Nuzlocke, which didn't have any naming themes at all. So yeah, please do that. Good luck!